wonderful teacher. I've had the privilege of being in class with him, learning American Sign Language, along with Vernon and some other folk. And we'll show off maybe in a couple of weeks. We're actually going to have a speaker in a couple of weeks who will not be using his mouth. He will be using his hands, and we'll have interpretation. We're so grateful to Raymont for being here, and I think she's going to do that interpretation on December 3rd also. So really looking forward to that. And our speaker today, yes, in addition to being a wonderful, wonderful teacher, he is the president of our board of directors. And Diamond knows how challenging that can be. Very grateful to him for also being an associate minister here. So he wears many hats, and we're very, very grateful to him for all of the hats he wears. And please join me, Reverend Dr. Raymont.
So real quick, just FYI, the gentleman that Reverend Alex is referring to, his name is Ocean, and he is the only, if I'm not mistaken, the only deaf Zen monk in the world.
Wow.
And he's housed at Gallaudet University. He created his own temple. It's called No Barriers because he wanted everyone to be able to come there regardless. So that's who's going to be speaking, just FYI.
Cool.
Is that good, Tracy? I'm ready to start. Okay, so how's everybody today?
Good.
So Facebook is an amazing invention, right? Those who are on Facebook, no, come on now, some of you, come on. Facebook's an amazing invention. You know how every now and then Facebook tells you there's these memories and it'll share like 2 years ago this or 3 years ago that. So a couple of days ago it gives me this memory and says, on November 15th, 2005, you spoke at CSLDC when we were at Phoenix Park Hotel, and you spoke about gratitude, and it's be grateful in all things. Be grateful through all things. It's like, oh, interesting. Being grateful no matter what's going on. So if I were to ask you, because today we're talking about what's the title for today?
How grateful are you really?
How grateful are you really? And I could pull like a Abraham Hicks kind of thing and say, how grateful are you? Really? That kind of thing? Where it's like, oh, so you're grateful for that. Really? Are you really grateful for that? But how do you know how grateful you are? Just generically, how do you know that you're grateful? Many years ago, Tracy, she would do the, God is good, God is great, let us thank him for the food, like that. Tracy had, not that specific prayer, Tracy, but Tracy had to pray, like she had to. And we got into this discussion about, well, why? Why do you feel the need to utter these particular specific words? And it was, I was raised to be grateful. I was raised to express my gratitude. And I said, but can you just be grateful? Like, do you have to say thank you to express your gratitude? Now, there is a certain level of, I receive, or there's something and I thank you. I appreciate the fact that you did that. And I am thanking someone for something that they did. But I'm talking about you. In your regular, everyday, get up and go through life self. Can you be grateful? Now, Iyanla Vanzant said, gratitude is not this thing about being grateful for what you get or things that are done. Gratitude is an attitude. It's a way of being. So this question of how grateful are you really, it's how grateful are you? As a being, how grateful are you? So that when you are walking throughout life, in and out and doing your stuff, how grateful is your attitude simply for being who and what you are? So, last week I spoke at Celebration Center in Falls Church. And the topic was financial adversity or financial aversion. Like, do we not have money because we have an aversion to it? Like, money is the root of all evil. So I ain't trying to be evil, so I don't want it. Or is it because we have these things in our minds that it's not about adversity? Because adversity means there's something outside of me that's causing me to not be able to do or have, etc. is it me preventing my own wealth and well-being? Is it me blocking my own blessings? How many times have we heard Diane say something to the effect of, what you appreciates. Simply a state of being in gratitude brings more to be grateful for. That's an attitude. By being grateful, more things show up to be grateful for. But is there some paradigm in my mind that is causing me to, I don't want to be but so rich, because I know if I get Oprah's kind of money, I know for a fact relatives that I've never heard of are going to show up knocking on my door talking about, but I'm your great grandmother's second cousin on the, I don't know you, but they're going to ask. And I don't like saying no. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't like saying no. But I'm going to have to get real good in my spiritual no, because I'm going to have to tell people no. But is there something in my mind that is causing me to block and push away from this health and well-being, this prosperity, in whatever ways it shows up? A couple of days ago, I love and I'm so grateful for the ways that Spirit shows up in, through, and as me for itself. Because Tracy and I are walking through Giant the other day, getting stuff for Thanksgiving and stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And getting in line, and you know how you have the magazine rack. And so we're walking, and I spot out the corner of my magazine rack, Time Special Edition. Mindfulness, right? So I'm like, oh, mindfulness caught my attention. Why did I immediately open it to page 58? Gratitude. How gratitude changes your life. Like, oh yeah, go ahead, put it because I have to get this now. And we're going to talk more about that later, but this idea that even something as everyday as Time magazine is reminding us that gratitude changes our lives. It changes how we move and live and how life responds to us. One of the things that I also mentioned at CSL, Celebration Center in Falls Church, was there's a passage in the Bible that says, you have not because you ask wrongly. You ask amiss. You pray amiss. So, being the nerd that I am, I'm like, okay, well, what does this mean? To pray amiss. What does it mean to pray wrongly? And the idea is, when another translation said, you are praying with the wrong motivation. So, let's twist this and ask, when you pray, what motivates you to pray? Am I praying to get? Am I praying because I want to have? Dear Lord, please give us. Like, am I praying from that Tiny Tim consciousness with, Ebenezer Scrooge, and I don't have enough, but I want more, and I don't have enough health, so I'm praying for health because I don't feel it and I don't have it. Is that where I'm praying from? Is that what's motivating me to pray? Because if it is, then my prayers are infused with the vibration of have-notness. And I'm praying amiss. And if that's what I'm doing, then can I also flip to another passage where it says, no matter what, and this is my paraphrase, no matter what is going on in all circumstances, in all situations, have gratitude. Like, is my motivation to live simply a state of being grateful? What did, was it Goethe who said, if the only prayer you said was thank you, it would be enough. If that was your only prayer, thank you, that would be enough. One of the things that, years ago when I was a regular Christian, just saying, just get it out there, when I was regular Christian, fundamental Christian, whatever we want to call it, like one of the things that I used to always buck up against was this idea of, why are we not praying like Jesus prayed? Why are we not really following his lesson? Why are we not, I think we're missing something. And one of the things that we were missing was this idea that everything that Jesus did, there was a moment of give thanks. Feeding the 5,000, give thanks. The Last Supper, give thanks. Like, in all of these moments, there is this. This is the man that in the story turned water into wine, walked on water, told the storm, be still, etc., etc., etc. I'm thinking, what are you saying? Dude, if I had the magic of Chris Angel and David Copperfield, magic, I'd be popping and levitating and stuff. but he knew that there was power in gratitude. So coming back to this, we are in this season of Thanksgiving. And I stopped celebrating Thanksgiving, I don't know, several years ago, for a variety of reasons. But my idea was, for some reason, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Hanukkah, all these things, they're set for specific times of the year, and I understand that. But why, if I love somebody, why do I have to wait till February to get flowers or chocolate or whatever? If I'm really thankful, then why do I need to wait for us to gather around a table that is actually a commemoration of a massacre? But that's a different story. But why am I celebrating around this table when I can be grateful and thankful anytime I want? So I said, I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving anymore. I'm celebrating Thanks-living. I want to live my thanks. I want to live, move, and have my being simply as a being of gratitude. So that when I hold the door open, it's not just you be thankful that I'm holding and being nice to. I am grateful that I was able to hold the door open for you. I am grateful that I am able to have a smile on my face, even in the midst of, and yet I smile. Gratitude. I want to have this. So what is your gratitude practice? You know, many of us, we do gratitude journals and stuff. And, you know, we start off on the first day and we come up with, I got 10 things I'm grateful for. Second day, 10 things I'm grateful for. By the time we get to day 5, it's like, I'm grateful for it. And I come up with 2 things. Maybe 4. But I'm having a difficult time now coming up with, like it's day 5 and I can't come up with another 10. Why not? Because we are compartmentalizing what we are grateful for. It's real easy to think of, I'm grateful for a house. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for clothing. I'm grateful for shoes. I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for songs. I'm grateful for the center. I'm grateful. It's real easy to get, I'm grateful for that. But how many times, and I know you're the enlightened group, so I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but how many, I'm grateful to breathe. I'm grateful to have an imagination. Especially now. I'm grateful to be able to dream. I'm grateful to be able to have hope. I'm grateful to be able to see something on the news that is, and pray about it. And change what I'm holding in consciousness about it. I'm grateful for candles. I'm grateful for chocolate. I'm grateful for the feeling of chocolate as it melts on my tongue and moves through my body and it feels like the Holy Ghost just said, boom, you're blessed. I'm grateful for that feeling. I'm grateful for it all. So how do we move from this state of simply saying thank you, simply saying I'm grateful, to letting it be I am gratitude made flesh. I am from the top of my head to the soles of my feet filled with gratitude. So that when I walk into, and I've said this many times, Suzanne mentioned the Dalai Lama, and how many of you heard me tell the story about friends of mine who work at the Capitol when the Dalai Lama shows up at the Capitol? Oh, so I got to share this with you now, okay? And I think some of you are lying, but it's okay. I forgive you anyway. So, a couple of friends of mine, they work at the Capitol, right? And every year the Dalai Lama comes to D.C., and so he goes to the Capitol because he's addressing members of Congress, etc., whatever they do there. And they never tell them when exactly he's going to show up because it's a security thing, right? But my friend said they don't have to tell you exactly when. You know when he's hit the premises because the vibration in the building changes. Wow. He said you could be on the phone talking to Senator such and such about whatever and say, but Senator, and you're like, I could reach to the phone and I'd choke you. Like you feel this angst and something washes over you and all of a sudden you're like, just peace. Like the Dalai Lama's he's on the premises. And the funny thing is, with him, as I've been told, is his aura, his energy is so vast that he doesn't have to be like right here in front of you within 10 feet for you to feel this immense just joy and happiness. Like you being there, you want to smile. You feel lighter. Is that reserved to him only? No. Every single one of us has the exact same kind of the exact same level of ability if we choose. How many times have we talked about, to the degree that our consciousness acknowledges and recognizes, etc., is the degree to which we experience. So, Joel Goldsmith, no, actually I'm going to give you this one. Eric Butterworth says in Spiritual Economics, page 95, you do not need something to be grateful for. You need only the desire to feel grateful. Invoke Plato's law. When you feel grateful, you become great and eventually attract great things. Joel Goldsmith, Rising in Consciousness. You will remember that everything you see is only the result of the law of God. You will remember that behind the visible is the law of God producing and reproducing. That which is visible to you, whether money or whatever, is but an effect of supply. It is not supply itself. It is only an effect of supply. Supply is the consciousness of good within. And as long as we have that, we have what we call dollars. To which I add, supply is the consciousness of good within. And as long as we have that, we have what we call dollars, health, wealth, joy, love, passion, energy, vitality, and life. If we are able to stand in recognition of the good, then everywhere we go, everyone we see, we have no choice but to see and acknowledge God. We see it reflecting itself in and through everything. So the tree that's outside, God. How can you walk? In The Color Purple, there's a scene, and I'm going to more than likely misquote this, but there's a scene. How many saw The Color Purple? Okay, so oh man, y'all don't know. Okay, so in The Color Purple, there's a scene when Celie and Mister's the other woman, Miss Shug, thank you. And they're walking through a sea of purple, and they're talking about jealousy. Is God a jealous God, etc., etc. And Shug says that it is, and I'm going to misquote this, but this is how I interpret it, that it is a sin to acknowledge and see this beauty and not recognize it. To just simply walk through the sea of purple. To simply walk out of your front door or walk from your bed to your bathroom and not be able to see the beauty in your own home. The beauty in the reflection in the mirror when you see yourself reflecting back at you. The beauty that is in the meal that you cooked for yourself and are eating it. There's beauty. To not be able to acknowledge the wonder that is coming from you in and through all of this is a misuse of our spiritual principles. It is a misuse of the law. It is a misuse. You are praying amiss. Your motivation is awry. You are being motivated by the ego that says, gotta get. Consumerism, I gotta get more. Because the more I have, the more I'm going to love and like myself. Especially if I paid $300 for my shoes. How much did you pay? Like, why? Because I am motivated by. Because I am trying to fill. In Buddhism, they talk about the hungry ghost. These ghosts that have these huge heads and tiny little mouths trying to eat all the stuff that they can't fit everything in their little tiny little mouths, but they're trying to go, and they're never satisfied. Are we satisfied? We have this principle that by all rights, everything that pops in our minds that we are inspired to be, do, or have isn't just us wanting to be, do, or have it. It's spirit wanting to create this thing for itself as you. So that book you want to write isn't just your book. It's God wanting to write this book in and through and as you. The workshop, the TV show, the seminar, the school, the whatever it is that is boiling up and bubbling up in you to be created isn't just you. It's the universe. Where's the symbol? This coming down to this right here, in and through and as each and every one of us. are we blocking it? Are we able to use our gratitude to step outside of whatever the obstacle is? Because we're going to say there are obstacles. Get that. But are we able to, in our consciousness, shift past the obstacle? To be grateful for the trials and tribulations. Knowing that in the midst of the trials and tribulations, God has to be there too. Because there's nowhere that it's not. So no matter what's going on any portion of this tiny little blue marble, no matter what's going on anywhere, God has to be right there. But if I am more motivated by political affiliations, if I am more motivated by any of the isms that separate and segregate, if I'm more motivated by the number on the scale when I step on it, I'm more motivated by the number when they put the thing on and I'm more motivated by that number because it scares me, that motivates me, then am I motivated by health? Or am I motivated by illness? It's either wellness or illness that motivates me to live. And if I'm motivated by illness, then my consciousness is focused on illness. If I'm motivated to fight the good fight against sexism, then I need to have a war to fight. Why fight it? It is what it is. Know the truth about it, and it has to fade away. It does not mean we passively sit by. No. It means we know what is ours to do, and we do it. But we don't fight it. I have no reason to fight it. I do what is mine to do. And it has to change. But it comes from a state of, I'm grateful. I'm simply in a place of gratitude. So what does that mean for you? How do you identify what it means to feel grateful? Can you, in this moment right now, feel it? Not because of anything you have. Not because of anything you can do. Not because of anybody else, but simply because you are love made flesh. That everything about you is magnificence. And if you are magnificence given a body that is magnificent, then everything that you then do has to be magnificent as well. You cook and it's magnificent. You love and it's magnificent. You create and it's magnificent. You play and it's magnificent. You dance and it's magnificent. Everything that comes from magnificence has to be magnificent. Because every seed that a sunflower drops is a sunflower seed. Every seed that's within an apple is an apple seed. Everything that comes from you in the same way must be of God, by God, for God, because you are God. Let's pray. Simply allowing this breath to be breathed. Sinking into this breath, I ground my mind on the truth. Centered and anchored in that which I know, God is all there is. One power and one presence. And it being all there is, it must be right here in this body called Raymont. It must be in these words that Raymont is speaking. It must be in the ears of every person who hears these words. It must be in the very vibration that these words carry into the walls, into the floor, into the ceiling, and beyond. God is all there is, one spirit, the thing itself. The absolute consciousness of life is right here, in, through, and as every person in this room. And so knowing this truth, I know that health is already the truth of our being. Wealth is already the truth of our being. Joy is already the truth of our being. All that God is, I am. All that God is, each and every person in this room must also be. And I am grateful to know this. I am grateful to speak this word knowing that this is the truth about itself and therefore the truth about me. And so in this awareness, I surrender to this truth. I have no need to push away at it. I have no need to wrestle with it. I simply allow the truth of this magnificence to be what it chooses to be in, through, and as me. And as my little I self steps out of the way, as my ego self moves out of the way, the grandeur that the universe is shows up in all of the ways that it possibly can, and I allow this to be. And I breathe, knowing that in this breath God is. And I breathe, knowing that in this breath joy is. And I breathe, knowing that in this breath health and wellness is. And I breathe, knowing that gratitude changes the very molecular structure of my body, and so I stand in gratitude. I speak from a place of gratitude. I allow gratitude to be what I am. And I release this word into the law, knowing that it is already so, as it already has been and forever will be. It is done, it is so, and so it is.
And so it is. Amen.